Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a not really a full-on review because we've already talked about the beautiful Herman Ishtar. But this one does have a little bit of a different blade. This is the Persian style blade as opposed to the previous one that I reviewed. This is a little bit different blade shape here, right? Herman Knives offer, variations like this between their models. So I wanted to talk about this one because this one's going to be wildly less expensive than the DLC Damasteel or the Bifrost Damasteel version. But we've got some interesting finishes on this guy, different blade shape, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about Herman Knives. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Herman Knives are available most of the time. They are in high demand, but enough of them are being made that you can actually find them in stock. I will link them right down in the description so you guys can check them out. At Polish Custom Knives for sure. And they constantly are adding more. So make sure that you check often. There's a wide range. I mean, these are custom knives, right? But I've said many times for people, this isn't, obviously I'm not going to tell people like, hey, first venture into the knife world, why not spend $700 on a knife, right? Obviously not. No, start small. And then if you enjoy that territory, then stay there, right? Stay as long as you want. But if you decide to graduate and climb the ladder, there are certain tiers where it's better to go with certain makers than others when it comes to getting your money's worth. Herman has knives, that, I own some of them, $3,000, sometimes closer to $4,000 if you want something full dress. If you're talking polished Damacor, black Damascus, and special this, special that, then of course, absolutely you're going to pay a lot more money. But they also have some of the best, their base prices are some of the best versus the competition out there. And, when I'm saying competition, I don't mean other people working with Magna Cut and titanium. No, I mean people who are actually executing in the same tier as Herman Knives. These are made in Poland, and they are custom knives. While there are machine elements, these are definitely custom knives. And a lot of them are unique, right? Even some of the base-priced ones. This one here that they sent in is one of those that's got a couple of unique elements here. Number one, I've noticed that the finish on this Magna Cut is really beautiful. We have, it's almost eggshell texturing, and I have another Herman with an eggshell textured blade. At least that's what I'm going to call it. I don't know what they call it, but you can see there's it's not tumbling. There's actually a texture pattern on the blade, and that is very beautiful. It's actually a little more polished. This has a little more reflectivity to it than I'm used to seeing. We're going to see those variations from model to model, and that's, kind of the product that you see, in custom knives. You see subtle variations of things. We also see unique patterns, like they've got this, I don't know if I want to call it, it's almost like an elven web. I don't know what else to call it, but we have the darker, less vibrant purple underneath, and a lot of that is really because I've got my fingerprints all over it. But we have this sort of iridescent gray to purple. I don't know if iridescent is the right word, but then we have this vibrant purple up here on the tops or the flats of this pattern, which is very, very beautiful. On the other side, the pocket clip has got a little more polish to it, a little bit different color, ano, and then underneath, same with the back spacer, right? Really, really cool. And what's really awesome about this knife is that this looks way more expensive than it actually is. This is closer to the entry-level price of a Herman, which the entry-level price of a Herman is about, I think the least expensive ones are maybe just a little above $600, right? But that's $600 to $850 territory, right? That's about entry-level Herman. So the competition there would be like Holt, Koenig, Shirogorov, right? And versus the competition, number one, Herman Knives are substantially more available. They're made in he's able to make them in larger quantities, right? The way that he's got this set up. And this is still a very small operation, right? It's not like they're secretly, able to make thousands of these things, but the way that they're doing this, which is just a few people involved, he's able to make, get the availability up there, right? And on top of that, we don't have the same 2, 3, 4 configurations. We have multiple models with multiple blade shapes made out of various steels. LMAX, M390, M398, Damasteel, Damacor, Balbach Damast. We have MagnaCut now, which, by the way, they're heat treating to 62, which is fine, right? A lot of people say a little bit higher. Some people say a little bit lower. This one's got a real heavy detent on it. MagnaCut has a wide range of optimal, right? Laren Thomas himself has stated wide range. This is the person who made it, an actual metallurgist, and is not somebody down in the comment section pretending to know better than him. So I would go to Laren Thomas's website and, not not the random whoever from wherever, right? But 62, I think, is just fine. You're going to get great edge retention. You're going to get great performance. It's going to be a little easier to touch up than something that's sitting at 63, 64, right? But you're still going to get what you want out of it. I think it works really, really well with this geometry. But you can get something like this, which is largely custom for, truthfully, if Shirogorov made this exact knife, you'd be looking at, I would say, at least $1,200. And that's quite a bit more. These are very, very much on par with Shirogorov. And, while there are much more unique elements, I think, when we're comparing to Holt and Koenig, they are also on par with them. They just have more availability, more options, more uniqueness. When you buy a Herman knife, there's usually some factor there that makes it special. And you can get those special elements without having to pay for a special edition, right? I love my Shirogorov F3. I love it. It's really cool. But holy crap, did it cost a lot more than my standard F3. And my standard F3, while being probably the best priced, most highest, as far as value goes in the Shirogorov line, it's still way more money than what you'll pay for most entry-level Hermans, which have the same level of execution and a lot of times more preferable materials, right? This is one of the heaviest detents. So Herman knives come with varying detents, and I think it's largely because they're done one at a time. These two Ishtars, by the way, or for example, have completely different detents. This is a little lighter. It's about medium. I would call this heavy, which is why I keep slipping off of it. What's cool, I found out recently that you can actually contact them after the fact and say, hey, this is too light, or hey, this is too heavy. And they'll adjust it for you, which is pretty cool. It comes with its own, tool, but this is also if I'm not mistaken, it's either a T15 or a T20. So you don't have to worry about proprietary hardware or anything like that. The other screws are T6. Simple construction. I believe Herman makes the bearings himself. I've just been so wildly impressed by Herman knives. I collect these now. Herman knives are, it's a type of knife, as somebody who owns over 180 knives, and many of my knives are like serious collector's items. There are certain brands that I collect within and certain models I collect multiples of. Herman knives in general, to me, are collector's pieces, as well as tools. But the desire to collect more than one is so potent. That's why I own so many. I can never say no. Whenever I see one that I like, I have to have it. I just think they're that, because I know they're all going to be excellent, right? Even if there are variations in the detent, you're always going to get that sing. You're always going to get that really, really cool sound, right? You're always going to get a really nice finish on your blade. You're going to get a good material that's heat treated well. I got to be honest with you. I think I actually kind of like the Persian blade better than the blade shape that's on this guy. I like this DLC Damasteel. They call this Bifrost. I've never seen DLC Damasteel before. And that is different. For those of you who are wondering, why does he keep saying Damasteel? Isn't it called Damascus? Damasteel is a proprietary form of Damascus that is made by the Damasteel company, and it is not just two random compositions slapped together to look pretty. It's made by combining compositions, the two compositions PMC 27 and RWL 34. The main idea being that they can create the pattern. It will take an amazing finish or polish or both, in this case, obviously, right? But most importantly, it can be heat treated in a way that will actually result in good performance rather than who knows, right? So if you're wondering, hey, I can get Damascus from Amazon for 25 bucks. What's the difference? Oh God. Oh my God, is there a difference? It is night and day. Definitely. There's a huge difference, right? Obviously, geometry plays a big role there, but yes, this is its own thing here. But anyways, yeah. What you can get, you know, entry level with a Herman knife, it can be subtle uniqueness, something like this, or, you know, sometimes they have massively contrasting materials. They do the copper, carbon fiber, right? Various other things in this area up here. They do different texture patterns, right? I think it would be really cool if they explored doing this eggshell pattern or texturing on the titanium. You'll have like a wavy horizontal pattern or a, you know, kind of a, like a, I think I've actually got a couple here that I can show you. Let's look at the slim. Let's look at the, I'm going to show you some much more expensive versions. These are actually 3 different texture patterns here. But on the Mantis, which is using Balbach, we have this texture pattern here that's sort of, you know, curved. On the Sting, which is black Damascus and also Balbach, we have this sort of wavy texture pattern. And then on my first, it was my first Herman custom, we have sort of like a seashell, right? Fluted seashell texture pattern. Really, really beautiful. And sometimes they'll even texture the pivot. And, you know, you're not limited just to your entry-level stuff and your ultra custom stuff. They have many things that are in between. I kind of like the entry-level stuff for, you know, general EDC, and because I do have some Hermans that I use. In fact, I've got 3 now that I use, and I like the ultra high-end stuff more for, you know, collection purposes. Just as an enthusiast, that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy collecting. So it's really cool that they are catering so well, so accurately to so many different people, and I feel like Herman knives are the reason that some people end up breaking their own rules. You know, we've all said it. I would never pay X amount for a knife. I've said this a million times, and I've tried to coin this and spread it around so that people can, you know, continue to spread it. You won't until you will. You will eat those words. There will come a day and you will eat them, and my voice will be in your head saying, I told you so. Yeah, it's going to happen. Herman Knives is, you know, it's not just because of my channel. There's plenty of other reviewers out there who say the same thing because it's just this quality translates the same way to most people. Herman Knives is the reason that a lot of people break their own rules, because you handle this stuff and you go, wow, you know what? I think I might actually spend $600, $700, $800 for a knife, or I might spend $1,000, $2,000 for a knife, right? That's what they do. First time you handle them, especially, right? You are getting something that is functional. You're getting something that is created with care. You're getting something that is made for the human hand, and you're getting something that you can appreciate as a collector enthusiast who might be spending that much money for the first time. There are lots of reasons to go with a Herman knife, and you know, as a reviewer, I really believe it's my job, the most important part of what I do, because if you don't know, I do this full time. The most important part of what I do is picking out not what's good for everybody, right? These aren't for everybody. Nothing in the world is created for everybody, except water. Sure, okay. Yeah, everybody should drink water. But the idea here with my channel is I try to pick things out that I think for certain groups of people, wherever you are in your journey, right? My job is to pick things out that stand out amongst, you know, their general competition. That shine, you know, big shining beacon. Hey, this is the best in this territory right now. And it is very difficult to argue against Herman knives, right? Now, once you get up into the multi-$1,000 department, you got a lot of different opinions flying different ways. You get into that territory where everybody is convinced that they have good taste and nobody else knows what they're talking about. Everybody's right and everybody's wrong in that area. It's whatever you have grown to prefer, right? But when we're talking about their entry level, a very important area, they are arguably the best at the $600 to $800 territory. They are arguably the best thing out there. I mean, especially when you factor in variety, right? And choice of blade shape, choice of model, choice of material, etc. I spent a lot of time looking over this Ishtar and thinking, it is amazing that this is just something that's available, right? So this is something you can get that has personality. Really beautiful stuff. So, not a typical upload. Expect to see more. Herman, while I still very much love my Hinder knives, and I'm not done buying them, in a lot of ways, I've kind of graduated from Hinderer to Herman when it comes to, like, this is the next maker that I want to collect and I want to obsess over and I want to, experience all of the different things, This is, Herman Knives is like my modern day Hinderer knives. And again, I'm not leaving them behind. Listen, I'm going to buy 50 more, Hinderer knives before I die, right? For sure. I can't wait to see what Hinderer does. But this is just my next thing, right? It took me a few years to get here and to discover what I wanted to get into, and Herman Knives is what I'm into, So, if you are at this point, I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying if you have gotten to this point, say you maybe recently spent $500 on a knife and you're like, this is really nice, but where do I go from here now? How can I spend, more money and actually feel like I got something better? If you really want to drive it home, my suggestion would be your very next step should be Herman Knives, right? And wherever you are, if you regularly buy multiple $1,000 knives, I think Herman Knives has a place in your collection as well, or in your pocket, either way. But again, if you're just discovering the knife world, no, I don't recommend that you just immediately drop hundreds of dollars on a Herman knife. You need to explore a little bit and figure it out, figure out for yourself what it is that you prefer, right? So Herman Knives will be linked in the description. You guys can explore them for yourselves. I suggest you wait and choose very carefully. Choose the one that is exactly right for you. I've got many videos on Herman Knives that can help you make that choice, so feel free to explore a bit. That's going to be pretty much it today. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.